do YouTube live do its thing. And oh, you're live. Hi, welcome back everybody on YouTube live. I wanted to end down because something about over an hour, I didn't have enough data or enough space or something, but something. So 30 minutes should be good enough. So, anyways, so in Cobra Kai, when bad boy goes to sweet talker, charmer, con artist, bad boy to the extreme. Yeah. And but the thing is, um the girl that is all bad girl, she actually ends up turning good because of him. She ends up realizing she's the one that gets into a fight with Cobra Kai's first sensei. She will get into a fight with him. And she will actually stand really well for herself. That he actually will glare at her. Okay, so the reason why he actually went after her is because there's a past history between them two. Okay. Um her mom was also like Danny. Um More the humble type of fighter where she was aggressive and she was more of a she was just like him. So the first sensei of Cobra Kai is the male version of himself, but her mom is the female version of Cobra Kai's first sensei, the female side. But because she's female, she has some kind of humbleness in her. But she's very, very evil. And he finds out that she belongs to that lady, like that's her daughter. So he goes after her, the daughter, to bring out the mom. And then the Howley boy is going to realize um there was a how there was a flashes that he never remember, then that he started to remember that there was another sensei at the time, and but wasn't female. And um he never and then but she left and disappeared. And then all the stories between Danny and this and that, blah blah blah. But um the first sensei never told that his first and only defeat came from her. She's the only one that ever kicked his ass. So that's the grudge that created him, that created the Howley boy. And the second sensei of Cobra Kai will realize that through with Danny, that he does not want to look like how those two senseis look like now. They're both serial killers, they're both murderers. So, meaning a lot of the story in Cobra Kai in the third series, the reason why the bad boy go bad is because the first sensei going to teach him all the murderous ways. Yeah. The dark secrets that the second sensei never learned. The first sensei is going to choose the third generation boy to learn what he knows, his true fighting style of Cobra Kai. And the real fighting of Cobra Kai is blood and gruesome. That is the original way. Yeah, as I have seen it in my dreams, it would very be close to like Mortal Kombat. A lot of Mortal Kombat style would be like the original dark, karate style of Cobra Kai. That the Holly Boy that plays for um the Holly Boy that fights for Danny. Yeah. He evolves Mr. Miyagi's humble, peaceful style into a murderous style. Meaning this style was never used to kill or to damage, only to defend. He will upgrade it into a killing stance. That this style will upgrade into a killing ability. And it will have, and then that's when Danny and this boy will teach Mr. Miyagi's new dojo balance of yin and yang, of understanding the darkness and the goodness of this art. That if Mr. Miyagi's art can also be evil and dark, that means Cobra Kai's original darkness of karate can be evolved into something like Mr. Miyagi's. So there's gonna be this weird twist that everybody in the whole group gonna be single. They're gonna make an oath to each other. And that's when they make them pack. And when they make that pact together, that this oath of not letting relationships, feelings get in the way, because there's something much more important that they need to get done. But they made an oath and a promise at the end that once the goal and of this original goal is conquered and accomplished and it was established, they will continue on and wherever they want to, because there's going to be this hidden groups too that that been you gonna see that has always been rivals to Cobra Kai before Mr. Miyagi. It's going to even go further back with Cobra Kai. It's going to like bring history on history of his origin of Cobra Kai. And you're going to find out that Mr. Miyagi also had something to do with Cobra Kai. And why Mr. Miyagi was the way he was with Cobra Kai. Because at the time when he was in Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi, you will see that Cobra Kai was different. And Cobra Kai, and you will see the evolution of Cobra Kai and how it became what it is. That's when it gets a little bit kind of serious and this and that, blah, blah. And you're going to see a lot of conflicts and a lot of conspiracies of the fighting, because you're going to see fighters grumble in this show where the origin of martial arts came from. For real. And the reason why they need this conflict is because it's going to bring up the history of how martial arts really was created and what was it for. And that's what's going to bond them all back together. is them reaching the roots of their origin. And then, yeah, and then they're going to, be the own, they're going to have prom problems. And we're going to have like, in Cobra Kai, we're going to have little bit stories when they get prom. Yeah. We're going to throw like COVID in there, that they're going to like they're going to try to get these kids not to have prom and this and that, blah blah. But these kids of Cobra Kai, from Mr. Miyagi and Cobra Kai, is going to come together, and they're going to take over, and they're going to create their own prom, and they're going to invite all the students to the gym, and they have to be there on a certain time, and they bust the doors wide open, like the gym's doors wide open of their school, and all the kids run in, and they're having a blast, music's playing, and then you see all the cars pulling up with all the teachers and all the the all the parents, and they're all looking at each other. And then Danny stands up and says, "You know what? Um, I supervise. I did this." Like, he took the whole blame. He said, "I did this. I gave the kids motives to do this. Is blah blah blah. I sponsored it, and this and that, blah blah blah." Right? That then the other guy ends up standing up saying that, "Hey, I had part of this too. That my kids, obviously, because they're my students, I did it as well." And that the the teachers started to coordinate together, like, you know what, we're going to be the supervised staff, we'll be outside, make sure the limits, no by the schools. They just went straight back into the same rules as if they had the prom every year without the COVID. Yeah. And these kids was so cute, because they had these vape these the vape machines that look like smoke would go what I mean, and by the door. And so when you walk through the door, you're being sprayed down, and then there's greeters at the door, and they sprays your hand, and they're like, they're like, before you go in, you have to take a picture. That's because the point is because they wanted to make a memorabilia of all of this. And Cobra Kai and Mr. Miyagi crew, their students was the ones that wanted to do that, because they wanted to be over all their memories and everything being taken away. So the kids started to run up to the parents. The supervisor said, "Hey, you see this hand spray, the bacteria hand spray? Just when you're walking around randomly, just go shh, shh, like consistently, like, you know what I mean? That's why you supervise. That's why you're supposed to be." I got scared. That's why you're supposed to be you know there, because and stuff. And you'll see the teachers playing with the students in like the background of this one part, when all of them come together and they're talking in a circle, and in the background you see this teacher like going at a student. Like, it's supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be like a joke, like, you know what I mean? And they had like mask and like no mask, and then and it was really really it was really pretty. And the weirdest thing is, though, it kind of reminded me of Christmas, like a lot of the decorations, like, and a lot of the like the feel of it was like Christmas, not like other holidays, like more like Christmas. And then I don't know if this one is in Cobra Kai too, but there's a 4th of July episode for Cobra Kai, and it's fucking amazing. Okay, there's this scene. Okay, that there's the fireworks are blasting. Okay, in the background, and all the fighters are on all random places. Like one's on the ground, one's on the top of the roof, but the fireworks are all behind them. But they're all fighting, and they're all getting pops like, and like and to like to their fighting, and kind of like Lion King when they went to and like how it slows down, and then it goes fast, and then it jumps to another one, and it goes fast, and it jumps away, and it jumps to the other person's fight, and then it slows down, goes fast, it goes like, I think maybe that's how my dream looked like, because I was trying to like organize them, but still, that was a badass view. And so yeah, and it wasn't a concert or anything, it was just when it was 4th of July, and they just had this blowout fight, and they all was fighting their own partners all over the place with this badass music in the background that matched them, and you could see these kids laughing, smiling, rolling around in the mud, and they're giggling, and so it's not like the weird. That's what I'm saying. It's like it was like Christmas, and the next one was like 4th of July. It was like it was more like they was having fun, what they was doing, not hating each other and making some bullshit reasons why they having fun doing what they doing. They trust that each other has enough skills to give each other a good enough fight, and they do so, and they trust that they know each other can go to the stance of killing, but they came to respect each other so much that they will always stop at the end, and their trust started to grow from there. That Danny and hit and freaking Crutter, the other guy, the second Cobra Kai sensei, um, he he they take these kids on this excursions. They go together. Okay, they go together, and they go on an excursion. And Danny and him can finally has this blowout fight, like blowout fight in front of the kids. That they went for hours. That at when they said 3 hours later, you see the kids all around each other, look like reading books, and one's on the stuff, and one's talking, and the other one's still like one's on the deck just watching them. And then because it was maybe it was like for 3 hours they was fighting, because they'll knock each other down, and they'll be lying on the ground resting, and they'll be like, "Don't worry, when I get up, we're finishing this." And then they'll get back up, and they'll try again, and they'll fall back down. For 3 hours straight they was doing that, or so. And finally the kids come with this water hose and shoot them with the water hose and tell them, you're wasting our day, and we're supposed to be training. And because yes, Danny paid for the place they were sleeping and this and that, but the kids were saying they didn't put up a lot of their fundraising. Then there's even for go on these trips, the kids even did this fundraising thing too for their club, and their and they was doing kind of like side shows of like their fighting skills, kind of like that show off flashy concert thing they did in the first, like I think the first second season. And but this one, they're actually doing it as um paid shows, like concerts. Like they was doing fundraisers, like, hey, we're selling tickets to our concert so we could fundraise for, you know, our kids to have better, you know, gym wear, this and that, blah blah blah. You know, because the kids didn't want to lean on them for financial. The kids started to make this a business. And that's when you will see, during the whole time of the kids being kids, the kids growing up, the conflicts between Danny and all this stuff, the conflicts between the two original senseis, um, Mr. Miyagi's real backstory with Cobra Kai, with the building of the businesses of making Cobra Kai and Mr. Miyagi's businesses into one. Not only that, they're gonna be when um, car dealership people, they end up extending out to ideas what the kids are really talented in other than karate, like art to music to all this different stuff, that you will start to see that not only that these kids are talented in martial arts, they start to bring out their other side of them. Like this one's really smart in physics, this one's really smart in lab, this one's really smart in astrology, this one's really smart in history. They're gonna have all these traits, and that's when the Danny's gonna realize like he could invest in these kids and actually make a business. So Danny goes in the back, never tells these kids this, and signs himself up as anonymous donator. So he did this anonymous donator gave these kids this big lump sum of money. So the kids are like all excited. They got it going on. They thought that they're this shitty ass ad and this shitty ass, they go on this movie, yeah, and they make a commercial about it, and it's super fucking shitty, super shitty, super shitty. Nobody wants to invest in them because like it didn't get no interest in this and that, blah blah. So but the daughter already had to fight with the dad that no, you're not the one gonna give me money and this and that, blah blah. We want to show that we can do this on our own to build our business the same way like you. And this is the competition conflict between the father and daughter. That's when you're gonna see Danny and his daughter start to have conflict, like more fighting. Because when she gets more into business, they start to be more like rivals. And Danny still has that rival compatibility even with against his own daughter. That he will learn through his daughter that why okay his compatibility was stupid, blah 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 blah, and that's why he chose to be an anonymous donator. And he pretended, and the wife pretended, actually he pretended the whole time. Also, the wife um meets up with the girl that they knew before, but this is the weirdest thing. Everyone thought that the wife, because Danny has a wife, they're not going to end up together. Okay, this is my thoughts. The wife is swindling the business somehow. That's the reason why she's always on it. She's always the one catching everybody, but nobody gonna swindle something she's already swindling. And Danny's gonna find out that she's been working with a rival company all this time. behind his back. And she will blame it on, oh, you're in, that money went missing, and where did the money go? Because he gave the money away as anonymous. The money went anonymously, disappeared, and he didn't want to tell her, like, really at first, where he was the one that gave the money to the daughters, but then he finally tells her, and then she keeps it a secret, and this and that, blah blah blah. But that's when you see the marriage going up and down, and then lo and behold, the girl from the past comes back, and she doesn't bump into Cobra Kai's second sensei. That's who she was looking for, actually, because I think they made like some arrangement to meet, but then she bumps into Danny before she meets him, and they start talking. And when they start talking and stuff like that, they go on their way, and Danny thinks about it, like she's probably meeting with what's his face, so he ends up going in the car and drives down the road, and then sees them at at like not at a fancy restaurant, but like like one of like the sidewalks, and you just kind of like grabbing like a hot dog or grabbing something to eat like really really fast, and they was laughing and talking and stuff like that, and then you jump into them, and then they're talking about how it was in the old days and how they went wrong and this and that, blah blah, and how the things and stuff like that. But this one now is confused because his main student's mom, he's been trying to get her to forgive him ever since the accident. Yeah. And then she came along, and then he kind of slacked on trying, and then so she kind of like did her own thing, and she's gonna move. The day he finds out that she was moving was the day of her move. She was already packing all her stuff in the U-Haul. Everything was already cleared out of her apartment, and she was already giving the keys back to the landlord of her apartment, and they were moving uptown, like still in the same town, but probably like an hour away from that house, like where they was, or 45 minutes to an hour away. And he started to be like confused, right? And the same with Danny, because his wife is actually like shaving credits, like shaving hours and shaving money from his company that was supposed to be paid to his employees. And the reason why no one noticed it at first was because it was small amounts. Yeah. But the wife was trying to make Danny look really, really bad, like a criminal. So she threw it all on him. That's how it came out to the light. She told one of the employees, oh, can you go into this room and grab this file, this blue file? But then right next to the blue file, there was, another file. And this guy is nosy, so he ended up looking at it, and he realized that people's hours or minutes or whatever was being shaved, and they wasn't getting their actual real pay. Yeah. And that means their taxes not gonna come out legit. Yeah. So a lot of people, so he started to, be all like, oh la la. And then he went to Danny and threw the folder at Danny, and they was on he was all drunk too, and he's like, and he's like gonna sue him and this and that, blah blah blah. And good thing the guy got drunk and not do the procedures, because that was a blessing in disguise from God. Danny picks up the folder and then realizes, and he tells his friend that what is this and this and that, blah blah. And he said his friend's all drunk and he falls over and falls asleep in the grass. Danny leaves him there, turns around, walks inside the house, and start making phone calls and this and that, blah blah blah. And that's like a whole, like, he does this whole secret opera thing. And you don't know during the whole episodes of all the episodes that he has a secret operative things, because all you know is that he's talking to someone on the phone and this and that, blah blah. And then this guy ends up showing up, and it's supposed to be like an old friend of Danny that they met after, the whole Cobra Kai incident and this and that, blah blah blah. And you'll hear his backstory, and he's some kind of like agent or whatever like that, and he's been looking for the first Cobra Kai's sensei for years, because he's the agent to go after that insane serial killer. Yeah, as and it gets pretty crazy. Like from so much crisscrosses to what the hell, and then it'll give you the background. That agent will also give you the background of the girl, to the girl's mom, and then they're going to tell you the secret that the girl is actually like half like clone-ish, and like an experiment like through the mom. And she's gonna freak out, and then she's not gonna care, because the 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 boy that fell off the balcony, he tells her that it doesn't matter what you are, you still you. As long as you still you, that's who he likes. And like Shifu punches him, like, and tells him like, what about the other girl? Yeah, because they're still under the oath that they all promised that they wouldn't be all lovey-dovey and getting all caught up in that crap, because they got too much other fucking crap to deal with. But you will see during the whole season, during the whole all the episodes, the tension between all of them is going to be crazy, because the tension between all of them, you're going to be like you can tell that they all like each other, like they're starting to like each other, like and then you will see at one point, because they never end up with each other, that they're starting to you would have times that they'll start yelling at each other, like, you know what, I like this about you and this about you, but I don't like this about you and I don't like this about you. And they're like, yeah, but I don't like this about you and I like this, but you're cool about this, that. And then they all start to realize that they all like each other, but you know what I mean? Because at first there's all their target was for, the link together was because they was all targeting the same person they unlike. But now they all target each other is because the whole group like each other. So they're like, so it became neutral. And that's when you're gonna be surprised about who hooks up with who. Yeah. Who actually stays, who remains and stays the same, and who changes, and who actually, goes out and gets other, and that means like gets a relationship outside of their circle. Yeah. A lot of them actually gonna have a lot of relationships out of the circle. But the core has to have, but everybody has to have a core relationship. So it's in the battle between is those four. Who is going to be the core relationship? Yeah. Is it going to be just two? Is it going to be all four? Because it can't be three, because they're going to be in a weird triangle, and then we're going to go back to that bullshit, and we're done with that stories. We want something new, right? So, yeah. Anyways. Oh, yeah. I drew this a long, long time ago. And now that I think about it, didn't I make my hair like this before? Like, didn't I just make my hair like this? Wow. Yeah. Sometimes I have like these weird feelings to draw, and I'll just pick up something and draw it, and then I'll forget where I put it, and then I'll find it later. Okay, so any of you guys have been watching HBO Max? There's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Smith. Any of you? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on. So let me end this on the YouTube.